There's a version of you that the world knows, the polite one, the capable one, the one who smiles at the right time, the one who says, I'm fine, even when something inside is not fine. This version of you may be useful. It may help you work. It may help you survive. It may help you belong. But the question is, what happens when the mask becomes the life? Carl Jung called this mask the persona, the face we show to the world, the role we learn to play, the identity that helps us move through society. Mother, teacher, healer, good person, strong person, successful person. But Jung warned that when we become too identified with the persona, we begin to forget the deeper self underneath. We become the role. We perform the personality. We live from the mask. And slowly, quietly, the real self begins to disappear behind it. Hidden Amazon Wisdom is inspired by the real work of my mother, a South American writer and anthropologist who studied Indigenous cultures and shamanic traditions in situ across South America and Mexico. She did not study these cultures from a distance. She lived close to them. She listened. She observed. And through that legacy, we ask a simple question. What did ancestral wisdom understand about the human mind that modern life has forgotten? In many traditional ways of seeing the human being, a person was not only a social identity. A person was body, soul, memory, dream, ancestor, nature, spirit. So when someone became disconnected from themselves, the question was not only, what role are they playing? The deeper question was, what part of them has been hidden behind the role? The mask is not always false because it is bad. Sometimes the mask begins as protection. A child learns to be quiet because being honest was not safe. A sensitive person learns to appear strong because softness was mocked. A wounded person learns to be useful because love felt conditional. Someone who was never allowed to be angry becomes endlessly agreeable. Someone who was never allowed to be sad becomes the one who makes everyone else laugh. Someone who was never allowed to need anything becomes the one who takes care of everyone. At first, the mask helps. It keeps the peace. It avoids rejection. It creates approval. It lets us belong. But over time, the mask can become a prison. Because the world begins to love the version of us that is easiest to accept. And we begin to believe that this is all we are allowed to be. This is where the persona becomes dangerous. Not because having a social face is wrong. We all need one. But because the mask can separate us from the soul. In Jungian psychology, the persona is only meant to be a doorway between the inner world and the outer world. It is not meant to become the whole house. When we forget this, we may look successful from the outside, but feel empty inside. We may be admired, but not truly known. We may be surrounded by people, but feel deeply alone. This is why the mask connects so closely with the shadow. The mask shows what we want the world to see. The shadow holds what the mask had to hide. If the mask says, "I am always kind," the shadow may hold anger. If the mask says, "I am always strong," the shadow may hold grief. If the mask says, "I need nothing," the shadow may hold a deep longing to be cared for. And if the mask says, "I am fine," the shadow may whisper, "No, you are tired, you are afraid, you are not being honest with yourself." In shamanic language, we might say that the mask can cover the living soul, not destroy it, not erase it, but cover it like leaves covering a path in the forest. The path is still there, but you have to look carefully to find it again. So how do we begin to recognize the mask? We can start with simple questions. Who do I become when I want to be accepted? What emotion do I hide the fastest? What role am I tired of playing? Where do I say yes when something inside me says no? What part of me feels too inconvenient to show? These questions do not require a ceremony. They require honesty. And honesty can be its own kind of initiation. Because the moment you see the mask, you are no longer completely trapped inside it. You can begin to choose. You can still be kind without abandoning your truth. You can still be strong without hiding your sadness. You can still care for others without disappearing from yourself. You can still belong without betraying the soul underneath. This is where Jungian psychology and ancestral wisdom meet. Both remind us that a human being is more than a role, more than a name, more than a face shown to the world. The deeper self is not always polished. It is not always convenient. It is not always easy to explain, but it is alive. The soul does not want to be performed. It wants to be lived. The mask may have protected you once. You do not have to hate it. You do not have to destroy it. You only have to remember that it is not the whole of you. Behind the mask, there is a voice. Behind the role, there is a truth. Behind the person you learn to be, there is the person you are still becoming. This is the reflection for today from Hidden Amazon Wisdom, a place where South American ancestral wisdom, shamanic imagination, and Jungian psychology meet. Not to give easy answers, but to ask deeper questions. What mask have you been wearing? And who might you be without it?